Okay, if you watched my recent video, not yesterday, but the day before, and you heard that I was trying to get rid of the trip that I had, you can tell by my gorgeous surroundings that obviously that did not happen. I am in Lihue on Kauai, which obviously is gorgeous, and I'm always so happy to be here. But given that I'm trying to get this book finished as soon as possible because I have to get it to my editor by July 20th, working right now was sort of less than ideal. However, we're making the best of it. And I'll just kind of do an update and share with you. I tried to find sort of the quietest place I could on the property, but I'll tell you, there's like water features everywhere. There's people everywhere. There's a helicopter overhead. So hopefully my little mic is doing its job and you're going to be able to hear me okay. We'll definitely find out as soon as I go to edit it. Wow, that helicopter is really loud. So I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking because obviously this is kind of what my life is like on a fairly regular basis. So I'm in one state or halfway across the world the next, or just that's how it goes. And it can make it a little bit difficult to be consistent with my writing routine. Now, by no means am I saying that is the only reason, or even the biggest reason, quite frankly, why my current book is not finished. And I want to talk about sort of where I was this time last year, or actually more interestingly, where I was January of 25, and a post that I made that ended up being, completely like false. I don't know. I think I have this thing where it's like I'm inviting, the fates to kind of come in and like prove me wrong when I make these big grand statements. So maybe I just need to stop making big grand statements. But I just wanted to sort of like talk a little bit today about how I balance my writing with my real life, kind of thing. And I have 4 kind of things I want to share with you today. Also, I will give you an update on where I am with my book, because if you watched my reset, you might remember that I said I was giving myself I wanted this actually to be done yesterday. But of course, yesterday I spent 8 hours on the plane and an additional 4 hours in airports, kind of thing. And there just wasn't really any downtime. But I will say I got up early in the morning and I did get some writing done. And so that brings me to my first point about how I balance writing with my real life. And that is that since I've been doing this for such a long time, I absolutely know when my most productive time of day to get writing done. So like if I'm really trying to get it done, what has always worked for me, even though I don't really have to do this anymore, but it's a holdover from when my kids were young and I was working full time at a regular job. I was working in the schools, 40 hours a week, that type of thing. What always worked for me, and still does, quite frankly, is getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I know not everyone's a morning person. That's not going to be the solution for everybody. But the point is to recognize when your most productive time of day is. And for me, the reason why that works is because there isn't anything else I'm going to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to do. And so what do I mean by this? I'm not going to do any of my typical procrastination maneuvers like, oh, I have to clean the bathroom, or I need to vacuum, or, oh, look, the dog has to go for a walk, or any of those things. I'm not going to do any of those things at 4 o'clock in the morning. They don't make sense to me. So if I'm up and I've made myself a cup of coffee and I go, walk into my office and get settled, it just seems like a really natural kind of progression of behaviors to go ahead and start writing, put my headphones on, light my candle, get that music playing in the background kind of thing. And so getting up really early in the morning has always been my probably my best little trick for balancing writing with the rest of life that's happening. And it just seems like this kind of stolen time where, nobody else is really awake at that time yet. And as long as I can make sure I stay off of any and all social media or YouTube videos or that kind of thing, then usually I can get quite a bit of writing done first thing in the morning. So that's my first kind of trick that I want to share with you. And then the other thing that for me has always kind of worked is that I try to be consistent. However, I frequently lose the thread on this. But I think the thing is that I recognize is that it's really important to try to be as consistent as possible, even if it is definitely a skill set that I continue to work on. And I think because I know that I'm continuing to work on trying to be consistent, then when I'm not, and that happens a lot, or if I lose the thread or it kind of falls away for a while, then I know that that's the goal. That's the thing for me to try to get back to, is that consistent writing routine as much as possible. And so, that's when I can rely on and kind of go back to that first strategy. So if it's been like a few weeks or it's been a month or something like that, then, the best thing I know to do is like, you know what, hey, get that alarm set, get up first thing in the morning and, get to the page. So kind of combining those two things. It's like realizing that the consistency is a personal weakness for me, and then having a way to kind of get back on track as soon as possible. And then the other thing, when I can get into that regular, as much as possible, like habit of writing, is that before my day even starts, particularly on a work day. So like if I have to fly that day, whether it's just a 1-day turn or, like this one where I have like a layover somewhere, I try to think about my day before it gets started and consider what the downtimes are. So a lot of times if I'm just in, like it's easy on this one, like I had a 24-hour layover here. And so, it was easy for me to find the time and not get distracted by like real life, although it's very easy to get distracted by all the beauty in this place and just hang out on the beach and swim in the pool. But you have to have a little bit of fun, right? It's still life. But like if I'm just doing like a 1-day turn or something like this and I have a sit in like San Diego or LA or, Newark or something like that, then I kind of am just consciously thinking about the fact that I'm taking my computer with me, and when I get to that airport, I'm going to try to find a quiet place to sort of sneak off into a corner or something and get some writing done. And, maybe it's not ideal, because there's a lot going on and a lot of people, and it's not the quiet of your own office or whatever, but, those times, they add up. And so just because I'm working that day, that doesn't mean that I can't get any writing done. It doesn't mean that I can't be productive. And I'll tell you, like a lot of my books get written that way. It's not, I'm really not getting these sort of perfect 2-hour chunks of time or 4-hour chunks of time or a whole day, type of thing. It's like sometimes it is like I have a half hour, I have like 3 hours here, and I'm trying to just kind of keep that writing over always at the forefront of my mind. And that is what I'm trying to get done for that day. And just, remembering that even if, and this brings me to my fourth point, remember that even small amounts of writing every day or as many days as you can, they're a win. Like, even if I only sit down and I imagine I manage to get 50 words or 100 words, that's still a win. Those still add up. Now, if you're only writing 50 words every single day, obviously that's going to take you forever to get that book written. But that in conjunction with, those 1,000-word days or those, 2,000-word days or those 500-word days, it all counts, it all adds up, it all is a win because you have shown up for your book, once again. And I'll tell you that actually it's easier to keep your writing momentum by just consistently showing up. Even if you don't get a lot done, you're opening your manuscript, you're reading over what the last few things were that you had written, the last scene or maybe the last chapter, and, you're in the headspace of your book. That is so much more powerful than just being able to, like, maybe once every 2 weeks, sequester yourself away from somewhere and getting 5 or 10,000 words done or whatever it is, because it's that you're staying connected to your story, and you're also then every day thinking about your story. And unlike a lot of the writing that we do is not necessarily, the sitting down. I mean, obviously that's a lot, sitting down, getting the words down on the page, but a lot of it is just the thinking about our story or the ideas that come to us throughout the day. And so when you're staying really engaged with like your manuscript and, your story arc and your characters and all of those things, then you're more prepared, I think, to show up to your book and to continue contributing it. So those are all just kind of the things that I do to sort of like help me balance my writing and production of books, I suppose, with my real life, which honestly can be pretty chaotic. It's about 2:00 here right now. I'm in, if you're wondering where I am, where is this beautiful place that I am? I'm actually in Lihue on the island of Kauai, and it is about 2:00 in the afternoon here. A little bit about my day, I did actually get up this morning at 3 a.m. here, and that's because I live in Colorado, and so Kauai is 4 hours behind, or Hawaii is 4 hours behind Denver. So that was 7 o'clock my time. And so I got up, and of course it's really dark outside, and that was obviously, I was wide awake. I made myself some coffee in the hotel room and, started writing. So I really, really, really wanted this video to be titled, I finished my book. I finished, Her Name Was Lola. I have not finished Her Name Was Lola. I am, however, I got probably about 1,300 words written this morning before I kind of continued on with my day and did some other fun things. And I am at the point now, and actually after I'm done filming this, I'm going to head back to my room and get some more writing done, so that I'm hoping the next time you hear from me, I'm able to, that's the title of the video, I finished my book. Because it is really, now, this last scene that I wrote, I'm at the point where it's probably another 1,500 to 2,000 words to just kind of roll everybody, to roll us out of the story kind of thing. So I'm very excited about that. I'm also feeling a little nervous about, I'm not going to be able to write 1,500 words when I get back, or 2,000 words when I get back to my room tonight, because I have to work the red eye back to Denver tonight. And so my van pickup time is 6 p.m. and I need to get some more sleep before I do that. But I can probably get another 500 words. But it's Friday. And so then tomorrow, as soon as I land in Denver, which is 6 a.m., I'm jumping on a flight up to Billings that leaves an hour and a half later, because I'm going to a wedding this weekend. So, writing, real life, there's just there's a lot of moving parts and pieces. So I'm obviously going to have to sleep in there at some point in some way. But I really, 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 I'm hoping that just there is some way to manage to kind of maybe it'll be on the plane when we're coming back from Billings or something, that I can get to the point where I am this first draft is done. It's a mess. It needs a lot of editing. It's far from perfect, but the words are there, and now I can shape and mold them and make them what they need to be. So we are so, so close. We are nearly there. And I'm just definitely feel excited to be in that final push, It's almost done. We're gonna make it. It's gonna get there. So anyway, I'm really excited to share that book with you as soon as it's available. Thank you for coming with me on this journey. It's been a long one, and I also the part that I was talking about earlier in the video about January of 2025. And I don't remember if it was a video or if it was a post that I wrote or something, and it was along the lines of oh my God, this is the fastest book I've ever written. And I'm never saying anything like that again. I am keeping it quiet if I'm having a really good run of it. And the reason why is I had written 30,000 words, I think in a month or something like that. And I was oh my God, I'm going to have this book done, in 2 months, which is unheard of for me. It always seems it takes me a really long time. And obviously you can see it's taking me so long to even get to this point. We're now in July of 2026. So you learn those lessons, I guess. I tend to learn them over and over again the hard way. It's just the way it is. But so I'm never ever posting, even if I am writing the fastest book in my life, I'm never ever saying anything about that ever again. And it'll just be we'll all celebrate when it's actually really done. So anyway, that's all I have for you. I hope you found something in this video helpful. If you did, please subscribe, watch some of my other content. I really do enjoy making this and connecting with other creatives. I look forward to any comments you might have. If there's anything you'd like me to talk about in the future, just let me know. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you next time.